Welcome to the Temple of Flame. On today, Faith Block Lights, we take a look at this. And what this is from the Heat Hot Sauce Shop, it is their roasted habanero and garlic hot sauce. Once again, I've done two other iterations of this. This is the third. This one is the hot paper lantern. The hot paper lantern refers to a type of habaneros that were used in the production of this sauce. So I think they're trying to. So what are we calling it? A rare variety. Extra kick and complex flavor. Okay, so this should be hot. This should be hotter than the other two. And I have done the other two. You can check them out in the hot sauce playlist. Or you can go, it's probably easier to go to the blog and go to the table of contents from there. But they're organic. They're sort of environmentally friendly. They're gluten-free. They're vegan and so on. We've got, so I mean, look here, it's not manufactured by them, it's by California Hot Sauce Solutions, which is, I assume, a kitchen that makes a number of, apparently, hot sauces. I don't know who else they're producing them for. Distributed by Heat Hot Sauce Shop and San Leandro, which I assume is by Berkeley. I'm not really super familiar with California. So let's take a look here. We've got organic apple cider vinegar, organic roasted red paper lantern. So here's hot paper lantern. Maybe paper lantern is the name of the. I don't actually know. But we have roasted red paper lantern habaneros. We have roasted garlic, brown sugar, and salt. So the one complaint I had about the other two, and it was a pretty pronounced one, is the apple cider vinegar. I'm not a fan, at all, of that vinegar. If it were up to me, it would not be used ever. And so I don't let it stop me. It's just something I just dislike. I don't ever let that stop me though from ultimately getting a sauce. And you can see there are nice little black roasted bits in here. Look at this. This is a really pretty sauce. It's sort of orangish brown, and I mean it's lovely. It's got a certain sort of, I think, purity to the visuals here. To me, this looks quite good. It looks like something that is, I mean, that essentially is what it is. Just uncomplicated, just a very nice quality sort of sauce. Unlike a number of other hot sauce companies that I will not be naming that also have stores, and I don't mean any sauce manufacturers, by the way. I mean just different other wholesalers or distributors or retail outlets that like to private label stuff. These guys seem like they actually have a hand in things and in designing sauces. They have a number of other sauces as well. I don't know if I'm going to be getting to them at all because they're very eclectic, but I think maybe a bit too far outside of even someone adventure and experimental minded like me to jump onto. So we'll see. We'll see. One never knows. One can never tell. So let's get into this sauce, though. Just delicious. So this is the third iteration. Like I said, I've had of the roasted habanero and garlic from Heat. I've had the green, might be orange and green, the regular version. I had the limited edition red, which is hotter than the green. This one, would say it falls somewhere in the middle. What I really like about this is that flavor. Like, this is a very, very excellently flavored habanero. This paper lantern business, that is just a delight. That is quite good. I wouldn't say it's hotter than the red habanero, though, but it's a lot less abrasive. It's a lot smoother. I'm almost tempted to call it a lot tamer, but I think it really meshes well with the other ingredients here. Definitely more so in a way that the other two sauces didn't necessarily. This is by far my favorite of the three. If you're going to get one of these, absolutely get this hot paper lantern version. And they're more similar flavored than not. So it's not like if you get the green and orange one, you're going to be getting like a verde. It's not like that. They're closer in tone than not, all three of them. And this is just by far the best tasting so far of any of those three. So if you're going to get one, get this one. Absolutely. That's just a delight. And we're going to have it on some tamales. But before I get to the tamales, do you know what time it is? It is time for an incoming rant. So, these are from a company called Del Real. So, Del Real has this as their outside packaging. Okay? Inside, we have another plastic bag. And we have this. We have this thing, which is around each of the tamales. For comparison's sake, I'm holding a tamale, and here's the wrap. Okay, they don't come in corn husks anymore. Why don't they come in corn husks anymore? Well, that's a really good question, isn't it? That's a question that I can't answer. I don't know what this even is. So it has, you can see it's stretching, right? Look, it's stretched. So look, see that stretch right there? That sort of stretch, it's got a sort of aspect to it that's meant to look like corn husks, but it's very clearly not. Corn husks do not stretch like this, okay? Look, I can't tear it apart doing that. You can tear it if you go with the grain. So there is a papery component to it. But look at how gigantic this is. And there's no clue as to what it actually is. You know, it's like, what are we doing here? If you have this in corn husks are very, very biodegradable. They're leaves, essentially, right? And if you're familiar with leaves, you know that when they dry out and then are rehydrated and stuff, they start to break down and they basically disintegrate. Then we have this that was wet. All of these, you can see, I didn't add water to this, obviously. These were all wet inside the bag. You know, and it kind of gets to the question of what are we doing here? Why are we filling our landfill with all this stuff? For what? What are we gaining? And you want to be charitable. You want to be charitable. You want to say, hey, maybe this, I mean, it's brittle now, but maybe this is meant to retain water or something. So you can just throw them in the microwave. Because apparently you can't do that with corn husks, but you just throw them in the microwave and cook them like I did, right? And I don't think these were actually set. I hope not anyway. Maybe they were. In whatever this is. This weird sort of stuff. I can't find out what it is. Nothing on their website. The only thing that references here on the packaging is a sustainable wrap. What does that mean? What does sustainable mean? Does it mean that it's sustainable and that it's going to preserve this for a longer shelf life? Is that what that is supposed to mean? If I had to guess, probably. Probably is. And you say, okay. Being charitable. You're too hard on corporations. Be charitable. All right. Okay. So maybe what they're wanting to do is retain some of the moisture. So like I said, you can just throw it in the microwave and go. You don't have to worry about a wet paper towel anymore. Except they tell you to get a paper towel and make it wet and put it around the tamales before you cook it. So we're not saving any paper towel waste there either. Are we? We're having something that is considerably greater sized than the corn husks and certainly will not decompose like the corn husks. Obviously, like it's pretty strong here with water, right? Like I'm stretching it again. I don't know what this is. This could be some sort of fibrous thing. I don't know. I don't know what it is. I can't find any information on it. Or why this would be better in any way than what all the little old ladies in parking lots across America are doing right now, selling tamales out of the back of their cars in corn husks. These particular ones are chicken and cheese. One of the things I like about this sauce is you can use it like this, just as sort of a sauce to go on top of the tamales, like a smother sauce. And this one, so the sugar and the vinegars play really interesting with these peppers. I don't super love it on like tacos, but I don't dislike it either. It's fine. It's a very interesting approach. If you like that vinegar, this one I feel like is well tempered enough you could actually put it on some breakfast foods. You know, without... Some people get kind of weird, you know, about... They're worried they're going to burn their face off first thing in the morning. You don't have to worry with this one. This is just a pretty well done sauce. It's taking their established formula and just by changing one thing, which is the red or the hot or whatever, the paper lantern habaneros. It's a little bit milder, I think. It's a little bit fruitier. Yeah, I quite like this version. And the other ones I generally liked as well. Even though the sauce notes sort of wore on me after a bit. Particularly the regular version. But this one is... It's so interesting. I really like the flavor of that pepper. And if you've been watching the blog for any amount of time, or even some of these videos, I kind of have a grudging respect for habaneros. I've kind of battled those for a while because I don't... In one of the Epicurious videos, Smoking Egg Curry called them overrated. And that actually is kind of where I am as well. But if they taste like this, I think that word loses a lot of meaning. Because the red Savinas, I like the best so far. But I will say that I find these to be utterly delicious. I don't find them as hot as the Savinas, but I think these are really, really tasty. This is probably right up there, I think, with the Savinas is the best tasting habaneros. This tamale is disintegrating. This might be the last Del Real tamale I ever have, actually. I don't have any more. In that bag, that one was frankly boring. I do like the cheese, though. Having the cheese in there, I think added a really nice aspect. Usually you don't see cheese in tamales. But as far as tamales overall, that was... So you get a little bit of flavor imparted from the corn husks. Well, what happens if you don't have corn husks? Guess what flavor you don't get? Those are pretty bland, pretty pedestrian. The pork ones I think are probably still the most okay-ish. But I've never had chicken and cheese, that's why I got those. So now that I find their packaging kind of an atrocity, like I said, I don't know if I'm ever getting them again. Well, let's talk about the sauce. The sauce, shall we? No, let's not, actually, because I forgot. I had a prop, and I forgot to mention it. These bags are not Ziplockable. The Del Real bags I showed you. So there's no Ziploc or anything like that, which means if you put them in a Ziploc, instead of using a bag clip, like I do, there is one more piece of plastic going to the landfill. So if we're trying to be sustainable, and I truly hope everyone out there is, that is giving you a spike right between the legs towards that goal. So not impressive outing from Del Real. Okay, now on to the sauce. The sauce. Now we'll talk about the sauce. Okay, so this is by far, third time's a charm? Yes, I would say it is. This is by far and away the tastiest version of this sauce. It is such a wonderful flavor. They're very flavorful. All of them are flavorful. But this has a really wonderful flavor that gets brought out by the roasting. So you have the very nice roasted pepper, roasted garlic aspect. But you also have what that paper lantern habanero is bringing to this, which is a smoothness and a roundness. And I would say a softening of what can often be a sort of habanero unpleasantness, if you will. All that's gone here. You have the cider and the sugar kind of playing off each other in that sort of backdrop, which is, it does make it a touch tangy. And again, I would just never use apple cider vinegar, like ever. I would not have chosen that. That is, again, the same with all three of them. Just, that's my own point of contention, I guess, because a lot of people seem to like that for whatever reason. Well, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 ingredients. 5 ingredients. None of them is a preservative, unless you count salt. If you count salt, then I guess you could make the case, but it's not a chemical preservative. There's no emulsifiers or anything like that, like thickeners like xanthan gum in there. It is just straightforward. The vinegar, the roasted peppers, the roasted garlic, some brown sugar, and salt. It's pure, it's basic, and I think that this is definitely, they've come up with something quite delicious here. I really, really like this. I did take away in the written review, and you can check that out in the description down below. I did take away a little bit because I don't like the flavor of apple cider vinegar. So it is going to drive the flavor down a little bit. And like I said, this is not one of the hotter versions comparatively. But this is by far my favorite. And if I was to buy this sauce again, I would very definitely be looking for the hot paper lantern version of their signature sauce. No question about it. Very, very nice. Yeah, third time's the charm. Let's just roll with that, and we'll call it good right there. So that was the Heat Hot Sauce Shop Hot Paper Lantern Roasted Habanero and Garlic Hot Sauce. Now go forth in peace to serve the flame.